My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content.
All right, guys, welcome to Property Profits Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Kaminsky, for the Dave Dubeau team. And today, if you're ever thinking, oh, I'm just an average guy, I can't probably get into real estate, it's probably not for you. I've got André on the phone here out of Ontario, who's going to tell you a story that might just sound like yours. André, how are you doing today?
Very good. I'm excited to be there. Thanks for having me.
Now, you got the French last name. I wasn't even going to try to climb that ladder and give it to the people at home.
So my last name is Denommee.
Oh, there you
André
go.
Dénommée.
Very, very, very French. So you're originally out of Quebec, and then you moved to Ontario. Tell people how, I like what you were talking about before, that you thought about real estate, didn't do it, and then eventually pulled the trigger. So tell people how you got started and ultimately how you got addicted to real estate.
Well, so how did I start it? Always been interested. I bought my first house to live in. I was 21 years old, so I started really early. I understood the importance to own my own house. First, I didn't want to give my money to other people. I wanted to buy a house and build capital towards my equity, towards my future. So that's the way it started. And at the time, I was still married, and we were talking about buying multiplex and stuff like that. We had no idea what we were talking about, but we were interested into it. But me being a military, we knew we were going to be transferred somewhere at some point. And I had a little bit of issues to understand how I could trust people with my own properties instead of myself doing the stuff. So we never jumped in it. Then got transferred in Kingston, Ontario in 2009. Life happened. Got divorced, stayed here in Kingston. She stayed here in Kingston. Good rapport, good kids. Everything is going well. So always at my house, and then COVID hit. Like everybody else, the world stopped, right? So we started to work from home, and end up having a little bit too much time on my hands. So I said, you know what, it might be the time to do something. So I talked to the bank. The bank said, you know what, you cannot buy a second house. I don't like when people say no. So I said, okay, I need to find a way around it. So one of my friends was doing BRRRR strategy, and he introduced me to the idea. And at the end of the day, I said, you know what, you don't want to give me money to buy another house. So I flipped my own house. I was living in it. I legalized the basement, and I had a legal duplex. And then they appraised the house, and I was able to move to the second house. So without even knowing, I had my finger right in it, and it took the old body, and I went through, and here I am. I'm an investor right now. So I started my second house, same thing, refinance, number 3, number 4, number 5, and now I have 10 doors. So was it easy? The answer is no. The big challenge was the banks. Financing has really slowed down in the last 2 years. Everybody is aware of that. So I've been lucky. I've been able to stay in the market. I've been able to buy, in a process right now of refinancing to buy house number 6 and add 2 doors to my personal portfolio.
So you'd mentioned that you're in military. I saw, we touched on it a little bit, but how do you feel that, or do you feel that kind of military background has helped you, has held you back? How does that play into your real estate investing?
But I don't think I need to tell you that in the military, you need to be disciplined, right? Yes. So that helped me a great deal since I started. I'm also one of my quality is I'm organized. So the discipline in the organization played a big role so far, and it's still playing a big role because yes, I'm an investor, but I also started my property management company. If you're not organized in property management, it's impossible to have success there. So I'm really happy to have the discipline and have the organization skills that is needed. So that
Okay.
military helped me a great deal to achieve what I'm achieving right now.
And so you mentioned you'd started that property management company. Um, Definitely you have to be disciplined. Definitely you have to be organized. Are you just managing your own portfolio, or have you started managing for other people yet?
So no, I'm managing for other people. So when I started my own conversion of my own house, I said, you know what, I'm going to have tenant living in my basement. I'm not going to hire a property management company. So what I did is I said, okay, so I'm going to try to do it for other people. So I called a property management company to ask, maybe it's a little bit fishy, but I asked them, how would it work if I would hire you to manage my property? So I got the baseline of what property management is all about. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started to talk a little bit about that, and few friends referred me to other people, and yeah, so it started slowly, and now it's going well. So I'm managing my home for sure, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm also managing for other people.
Okay. And so, that's kind of, we were kind of right into the middle of like where how you got here. So tell me a little bit more about the day to day. You're growing your portfolio. How many doors a year would you say you're averaging as you grow this thing?
So you mean how many doors am I managing right now?
Yeah, like not in managing, because we can touch on that. But yeah, sure. How many doors is your company managing right now?
So right now we are around 40. So
Good
it
for you, man.
slowed down in 2023, and I was trying to understand why it slowed down, because we are having good customers, and we got few people sold, stuff like that. So we kind of hit a plateau in the last few months, and the only answer I have is the investors start to see us as an expense instead of being a team member.
Yeah,
And why do I say that is everybody's aware interest rate is going through the roof. Lots of people on variable rates. So what's happening? Less cash flow. They look at us, that's an expense. So
yeah,
lots of people are managing their own stuff when once I think they should not. But it's my personal opinion. Of course, I'm going to talk about property management. Not going to say
hmm
no, you don't need us. Uh, I think once the interest rate is going to start to go back down, I think there will be
hmm
more people seeing us as a team member instead of expense. That's the only explanation I can get about
yeah. I
this.
mean, it's that, and we're seeing that across the board in other podcasts and other investors that I talk to. It's just that there's only one way to save money, and it essentially is to save money.
Yep.
But you know, it- I think we're of the same opinion. It's probably going to cost you money by self-managing, because there's the time, the
hmm
mistakes, a bunch of things across the board. Tenant screening, people are terrible at screening their own tenants.
Yep. But
The
you know what? We
secret
do
to
it for a
property
living.
management, yeah, right. And if you're managing one or two, you might only screen 4 or 5 people a year if you even have turnover. And so
Yep.
like the reality is that you guys are more versed. You're going to find better tenants, less problems, and it's a small price to pay. When we moved some of the portfolio that we have right now off of self-management into property management, yes, there's always challenges, but who do they call? Not me.
No,
They call a
exactly.
property management company. So you got to really, if you're at home thinking, oh, should I have property management? My vote is yes. Obviously, Andre is saying yes. He runs
I
a
will
property
say double
management
yes.
company. So let's
No,
talk about your.
people just need to understand the added value that we bring to a portfolio, meaning you don't need to think about is my phone's going to ring at 2 because the ceiling is dripping. You know,
Mhm.
you don't need to worry about that because you have a company that takes care of it. So that,
Yeah,
of
you
course,
have
I'm going
that
to talk about that. But
separation, right?
yes, exactly.
So your portfolio right now, you had said that you have a couple of doors and you've been acquiring slowly. Um, well, at a pace that you're comfortable with. I don't like to use the word fast or slow, because really, I think real estate's about acquiring properties at your pace you're
Mhm.
comfortable with. So what does that look like for you right now? Like this year, what have you managed to acquire? What are you looking to acquire this year?
So 2023 was a good year for me. So
Mhm.
I closed on a house at the end of 2022, and I closed on another one beginning of June. So these two have been really good for me for, good return on investment. I'm in the process of refinancing another one to purchase early 2024. So I wanted to be at a rhythm of buying two properties per year for 2 to 3 years, and then because it's the first 5 years is the hardest, right? So when I'm going to start to refinance, I'm going to probably be able to go faster. But right now, I think with two per year, uh, because I do legal secondary suites or legal
Mhm.
duplexes. So it lots of money going into the renovation part of it.
Yeah.
And since the beginning, I'm going solo. I'm by myself. I don't do not have partners, not because I don't want to, is because I didn't have to so far.
Mhm.
So I would like to keep, so when I say I have 10 doors, I have 100% of 10 doors.
Mhm.
So far it's been working well for me. So at this particular moment, I'm in the process of refinance house number 4 to go buy house number 6. That's what it is at the moment. And hopefully beginning of 2024 will be on the market.
And you'd mentioned all of the properties right now are in Kingston.
Yeah, everything is in Kingston, so it's easy for me to manage. And also, I go work in these houses when they are in my own house. I go work in it every day,
Yeah.
so it's not like I have to commute really far to go to the project.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Kingston's a student town. Yes.
There's lots of students. Just Queen's University is about 30,000 students, but we also have St. Lawrence College. I'm not sure
Mhm.
of the number. I don't want to just throw a number. St. Lawrence College is that many, but it's pretty big too. So yeah, there's lots of student rental, but these properties are really hard to find. And if you
Mhm.
find it, you got to be ready to pay.
Well, do you find that the people moving into your rentals are students, or do you have students applying and they're failing the screening?
We have students once in a while. We are, in the family neighborhoods.
Mhm.
So do we want student? Not, I cannot say no, but there's always a risk of ruining your relationship with your neighbors.
Mhm.
If you are, we call it student ghetto in Kingston, you're gonna have students around you. So if you buy a house to live there, you know what's coming with it. So
Yeah,
when you go more in
people
a family
moving and
neighborhood, yeah, to throw student, if they are just partying and be loud, you're just ruining everything around. So we're trying to stay away, but we had experience in the past with very good students that we were renting places to them. So it just the screening process, you were talking about it earlier, so that it's key, because
Mhm.
if you have a good screening process and you have students applying for your units, chances are you can find if that's going to be good people or not so good people.
Okay, so let's look at 3 years from today. Today it's October the 20th
Yep.
and 2023. So from here to 2026, what is your strategy and what do you hope to add to your business plan over the next 3 years that maybe you're not doing yet?
So I am at the end of year 1 of my 5-year plan. So if I'm going to project myself and at the end of 2026, I'm going to be getting into my last year of my 5-year plan. So what I want to get, I have a number in my head. I don't need to share my number, but
Hmm.
I have a number in my head for my own properties. It's not about the amount of doors for my own properties. It's what I'm going to be able to cash flow in 4 years and 2 months from now. But I also have the property management company that I want to grow because we are a one-stop shop. When I say one-stop shop for investor in Kingston, if we have investor from, let's say you're from Manitoba, you say, Andre, I would like to invest in Kingston. So
Hmm.
perfect. So first, I work with a real estate agent that is focused on investment. So we can find a house for you. Then you choose you want it or not. If you want it, we get the plans going. We apply for the permit. Then once we have the permit, we do all the work. When the work is done, we have occupancy permit. We find tenants. We manage a property. So it's 100% hands off for people outside of us. So I want to keep offering that on the long run. But I also want to make sure that AD Property Management, my company, is has grown enough to have enough staff in there that if I say I'm going to Spain for a month,
Mhm.
I can just go to Spain for a month. Instead of, I went to a trip with my kids and their girlfriend this summer, and to visit my brother in Belgium. Just to be able to leave, that was not even fun. So I want to get to the point, and at the end of 2026, I hope I'm going to be at that point already, that I'm going to have reliable staff member on the team that I can just say, you know what, I'm leaving, and I have the peace of mind that the business is going to keep going, the tenant's going to be taken care of, and the investor is going to be taken care of too. So that the goal at the end of 2026, that's what it is.
Okay, and for this is just my own pet question. What's the biggest myth that you think of when you think about property management?
The biggest myth, that we're
Like
just in there for the money.
before you went in, you're thinking this, and now it's like that's a myth.
I was on some courses, online courses, and lots of people are saying that property manager are just there to grab money from the investors, and they don't care about tenants. Maybe there are companies like that out there. I don't know. I can tell you that our first priority are these two, the tenants and the investors.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the investor is not happy with me, he's going to say, you know what, I'm going to go to your competitor in Kingston. If my tenant is not happy, maybe his tenant's not going to pay, tenant's going to damage, tenant's going to leave. If you have good tenants, you want to keep them. So we're right in the middle. It's a sandwich, and we are the meat in the middle. So we need to please. We are in a service department that we need to please both sides. And it's not always easy. But to say that we are just in there for the money, if that was just for the money, I'm not going to lie to you, I wouldn't be there, because it's not fun every day. It's not fun every day because you have problems to resolve. You have issues with the property. It's, if you're not able to problem solve, you're not in the right field. So, but there's way more good days and bad days. So that's why I'm staying in there. But if I was just in there for the money, I would find something else to do.
Yeah, there's probably easier ways to make money than property management. So if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to contact you?
So AD Property Management on Facebook, you're going to see everything we do. We're going to see the process of our renovations. And AD Property Management, you find us on Instagram, Facebook, internet. But if you want to see what we're all about, the Facebook page is going to be a good place to go have a look at.
Awesome. And AD, I know the French accent might be a little bit hard.
Alpha Delta Property.
Because it's his initials. So I was thinking, now that makes sense. But yeah, A as in Apple, D as the military guy giving me the Delta. So
and you know what? The AD, attentive, dynamic. Just put it that way. It's not attention deficit. It's not that.
Well, time flies when you're having fun. I really appreciate you jumping on the podcast here. And until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.